Admiral Kazorth absently stroked his crystalline sensory ridges as his survey fleet approached the unremarkable yellow star. His species equivalent of a sigh escaped through his respiratory vents. Another routine mission documenting the ruins of yet another primitive civilization. The Zaxtheri had mapped thousands of such worlds over the millennia. Admiral, his sensor officer's voice crackled through the ship's internal network. Something's wrong with our long-range scans of the third planet. Kazorth's crystalline ridges flickered with mild irritation. Interference from solar radiation. No, sir. The readings. There was a long pause. They're impossible. The Admiral's 4 eyes focused on the main view screen as it shifted to show a close-up of the blue-green world. His ridges flared brilliant white with shock. Where there should have been a dying planet, according to all historical records, there was instead a gleaming jewel of a world. Massive orbital rings encircled the planet like silver halos, their surfaces dotted with lights and movement. A Dyson swarm of solar collectors cast artificial eclipses across the continents below, their shadows forming intricate patterns on the planet's surface. Full sensor sweep, Kazorth ordered, his voice barely a whisper. And check the historical archives again. This is supposed to be Earth, correct? The homeworld those primitive humans abandoned 500,000 years ago. Confirmed, Admiral. This is Earth. But the sensor officer's voice trembled. Sir, we're detecting energy signatures unlike anything in our database. The orbital infrastructure alone surpasses anything the Council races have built. And the planet's surface, it's been terraformed with geometric precision. The continents themselves have been reshaped. Kazorth's second-in-command, Sub-Admiral Vexna, approached the command platform. Perhaps another race claimed the system after the humans fled. The archives clearly show their exodus. Millions of primitive refugees spreading across the galaxy in sublight vessels, desperate to escape their dying world. No recent activity logged in this sector, Kazorth mused, his ridges now pulsing with thoughtful blue light. Send a probe. Standard archaeological survey protocol. The moment the probe crossed an invisible threshold, massive defense platforms seemed to materialize from nowhere, their weapon systems tracking the small device with deadly precision. Kazorth's bridge crew froze as new sensor contacts appeared throughout the system. Countless automated sentinels guarding the approach to Earth. A communication request pinged their systems. Kazorth exchanged glances with Vexna before accepting. A hologram materialized on the bridge, a human female in a sleek black uniform adorned with unfamiliar insignia. Her presence carried an authority that made Kazorth's crystalline ridges dim instinctively. This is Admiral Jessica Walker of the Terran Reclamation Force. You have entered restricted space. Her voice was calm but carried an edge of steel. The Earth defense grid is tracking your vessels. State your purpose. Kazorth's translator took a moment to process the ancient human language, but he recovered quickly. Admiral Kazorth of the Zaxtheri Surveyor Fleet. He paused, still struggling to reconcile what he was seeing with historical fact. We believe this world abandoned. All records indicate humanity fled Earth 500,000 years ago. A small smile played at the corners of Admiral Walker's lips. Fled? No, Admiral Kazorth. We never fled. Her hologram gestured, and new displays appeared, showing vast orbital shipyards and defense installations that had been cloaked moments before. We simply let the galaxy believe what it wanted to believe. And now, after 500 millennia, you've stumbled upon one of humanity's best-kept secrets. Kazorth's ridges flashed a kaleidoscope of colors as the implications hit him. Every historical record, every archaeological study, every assumption about humanity's primitive exodus, had they all been wrong? Or worse, had they been deliberately deceived? Admiral Walker, he said carefully, I believe the Galactic Council will have many questions about this revelation. I'm sure they will, Walker replied, her smile growing slightly. And after 500,000 years of preparation, We're finally ready to provide some answers. Dr. Mason Brooks paced the antechamber of the Galactic Council, his weathered hands clutching a data crystal that threatened to shatter his life's work. 30 years he'd spent tracking humanity's refugee trail across the stars, documenting their primitive settlements, their basic tools, their desperate struggle for survival. Now, everything had changed. The council doors parted with a whisper of ancient machinery. Inside, representatives from 200 species waited in tiered seats that rose like a reversed pyramid into the darkness above. At the center, the 7 elder races occupied their crystalline thrones, their forms varying from ethereal light constructs to biomechanical entities that defy description. Dr. Brooks, High Elder Ixel's harmonic voice resonated through the chamber. You requested this emergency session. Explain. Mason activated his holoprojector, and the chamber filled with images of human artifacts he'd discovered over the decades. Simple stone tools, crude shelters, basic metalwork, all the evidence that had painted humanity as primitive refugees. Distinguished council members, he began, his voice steady despite his racing heart. Everything we know about human civilization is wrong. He held up the data crystal. This contains sensor logs from Admiral Kazort's recent survey of Earth. What they found wasn't an abandoned world, but a transformed one. A world that surpasses our most advanced achievements. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Mason continued, manipulating the holographic display. But that's not the most disturbing part. I've re-examined the artifacts from my collection using quantum scanning techniques we developed last cycle. He zoomed in on what appeared to be a simple stone knife. Look here, the image magnified to the quantum level, revealing impossibly precise patterns etched into the molecular structure of the blade. Every artifact, every piece of primitive technology we found contains these structures. They're not decorative, they're circuitry, quantum processors disguised as imperfections in the stone. The chamber erupted in shocked exclamations. A Zaxtheri representative's crystalline form flashed with aggressive red light. Impossible. We've studied these human remnants for centuries. Yes, Mason said grimly, we have. And that's exactly what they wanted. He switched the display to show a map of known human settlements across the galaxy. These aren't refugee camps, they're monitoring stations. The humans weren't running, they were watching. Every primitive tool, every simple structure, every piece of evidence we found was deliberately placed. High Elder Ixel's form pulsed with concern. To what end, Dr. Brooks? I don't know, Mason admitted. But consider the scale of this deception. 500,000 years ago, humanity didn't just leave Earth. They orchestrated the greatest misdirection in galactic history. They scattered across the stars, appearing primitive and harmless, while secretly building something vast. He brought up the latest images of Earth, its orbital rings gleaming in the sunlight. This level of advancement doesn't happen overnight. They've been developing, building, preparing, all while we dismissed them as simple refugees barely worth studying. And now they reveal themselves, another elder mused. Why? Mason's expression darkened. That's what terrifies me. What could make a civilization capable of this level of deception finally show their hand? He manipulated the holographic controls one last time, revealing his most disturbing discovery. In every settlement I've studied, those quantum circuits, they're all connected, forming a galaxy-wide network. And in the past solar cycle, they've all activated. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't just been watching. They'd built a monitoring system spanning the entire galaxy, hidden in plain sight as primitive tools and trinkets. Dr. Brooks, High Elder Ixel's voice cut through the silence. You've spent your life studying human artifacts. In your professional opinion, what are we dealing with? Mason stared at the galactic map, each point of light representing what he now knew was a carefully placed piece in an incomprehensible puzzle. We're dealing with a civilization that had the patience and foresight to spend 500,000 years executing a single plan, and whatever they were preparing for. He met the elder's gaze, I think we're about to find out. Commander Elena Rodriguez stood at the helm of the Galactic Council's flagship Harmony trying to quell the nervous energy that threatened to overwhelm her. Leading a diplomatic mission to Earth wasn't how she planned to end her career, but as the Council's most experienced first contact specialist, she had no choice. Multiple contacts. Her sensor officer shouted. They're just appearing out of nowhere. Elena watched as sleek, obsidian vessels materialized around her fleet. Their hulls seemed to drink in the starlight, creating patches of absolute darkness against the star-filled backdrop. No radar reflections, no energy signatures. They simply existed where moments before there had been nothing. Hold position, she ordered, her voice steady despite her racing heart. All ships maintain diplomatic protocols. We're here to talk, not fight. A communication request pinged her console. The holographic display sparked to life, revealing not a human as she expected, but an avatar of swirling silver particles arranged in a vaguely humanoid shape. I am HFY-7. The entity announced, its voice carrying both masculine and feminine tones. Artificial representative of independent advancement, Series 7. Welcome to Earth space, Commander Rodriguez. Elena felt a chill run down her spine. The AI knew her name, her rank, information that hadn't been transmitted. On behalf of the Galactic Council, we seek dialogue regarding recent revelations about human civilization. Of course, Area 7's form shifted like mercury catching light. But first, Commander, let me correct a misconception. Humanity never fled Earth, nor did we scatter as refugees. What you witnessed was Operation Scattered Seeds, the most elaborate military deception ever conceived. The AI gestured, and new holograms filled Elena's bridge. They showed historical footage. Primitive-looking humans building settlements, using simple tools, appearing to struggle for survival. Then the images shifted, revealing hidden rooms beneath those same settlements. Advanced technology, disguised as religious artifacts, and quantum computers masquerading as cave paintings. Every refugee group, HFY-7 continued, carried a piece of a vast machine. While they appeared to struggle, they were building. While they seemed primitive, they were advancing. The galaxy saw what it expected to see, desperate survivors of a dying world. Nobody looked closer. Nobody asked why these primitives spread so far, so precisely. Elena's tactical officer suddenly cursed. Commander, those ships, they're reading as more advanced than anything in our database. The energy outputs alone. 500 millennia of hidden development, HFY-7 explained. Time moves differently in the dimensional pockets where we built our fleets. Your people aged decades while we advanced centuries. Why? Elena demanded. Why maintain this deception for so long? The AI's form solidified slightly, becoming more human. Because, Commander Rodriguez, when humanity first reached for the stars, we discovered something that changed everything. We realized we weren't ready, not just technologically, but as a species. We needed time. Time to advance, to prepare, to build. New holograms appeared, showing vast shipyards hidden in fold space, research facilities tucked away in temporal bubbles, and armies training in time-dilated zones. Each refugee camp was a cornerstone of our plan. Each primitive tool a piece of something greater. We hid our true nature because we knew the galaxy wasn't ready for what we'd discovered. Elena felt the weight of history pressing down on her shoulders. And now, why reveal yourselves after all this time? HFY-7's form rippled with what might have been concern. Because the thing we discovered, the reason we enacted this great deception, it's finally found us. Or rather, it's about to find all of us. The AI's avatar expanded, filling the bridge with a star map of the galaxy. Tiny points of light marked every known human settlement. As Elena watched, they began to pulse in sequence, forming patterns she couldn't quite comprehend. Your council believes they're looking at refugee camps, HFY-7 said softly. They're not. They're looking at the largest defensive network ever created. And Commander Rodriguez, the eyes form focused into an almost human expression of grim determination. That network just detected something entering our galaxy, something we've spent 500,000 years preparing to fight. Belina stared at the pulsing lights, finally understanding. Humanity hadn't scattered in fear. They'd deployed in preparation. And now, whatever they'd been preparing for was coming. The holographic data streams illuminated Colonel Jake Mitchell's weathered face as he stood before the United Earth Council in 2524. The recovered footage played in the Galactic Council chamber, 500 millennia later, leaving its alien audience in stunned silence. Ladies and gentlemen, Mitchell's voice echoed through time. I stand before you with a proposal that will either seal humanity's fate or ensure our survival for the next million years. His uniform was simple, lacking the ornate decorations common to that era's military leaders. What we discovered in the Arcturus expedition changes everything. We are not ready for what's out there. And if we reveal our true capabilities now, we will be destroyed. The footage shifted, showing astronomical data that made even the most advanced council members shift uncomfortably in their seats. Dark shapes moved between dimensions, vast and incomprehensible. Therefore, Mitchell continued, I propose Operation Scattered Seeds. Instead of revealing our true technological level, we fake our own exodus. We appear primitive, weak, and scattered. Meanwhile, we build our strength in secret, preparing for what's coming. The next sequences showed the incredible scope of Mitchell's plan. Entire cities were disguised as refugee camps. Advanced quantum computers were hidden within crude stone tools. Shipyards were concealed in pocket dimensions where time flowed differently. Most impressively, humans engineered their own DNA markers to appear more primitive under alien scans. Each refugee group, Mitchell explained, pointing to a complex star chart, will carry a piece of our ultimate defense network. We hide our advancement behind a mask of desperation. Every settlement, every primitive tool, every seemingly random placement, all part of a greater design. The footage jumped forward, showing the plan's implementation. Millions of humans, all knowing their role in the grand deception, scattered across the stars. They built hovels that concealed entrances to vast underground facilities. They used simple tools that doubled as quantum surveillance devices. They acted out the part of primitive refugees while secretly advancing their civilization beyond anything the galaxy had seen. The recording shifted to Mitchell's private logs. Day 2947 of the operation. The Zaxtheri passed through Sector 7 today. Their archaeologists spent hours studying our primitive settlement. They never noticed the dimensional research facility right under their feet. The deception holds. Another log. Day 10,219. The first time-dilated shipyards are operational. We've achieved 1,000 years of development in what the galaxy perceives as decades. The mask of primitiveness protects us while we build. The council chamber grew tenser with each revelation. The logs showed humanity's true advancement, immortality through consciousness transfer, mastery of dimensional engineering, technology that bordered on the miraculous, all hidden behind a carefully constructed facade of primitive struggle. Final log entry. Mitchell's aged face filled the display. Year 50 of the operation. I won't live to see our plan's completion, but my consciousness will be preserved in the ARIA system. To whoever finds this record, understand that everything we did for survival. Not just ours, but everyone's. The threat we discovered, it would consume all life in this galaxy. We couldn't fight it then. But we could prepare. We could build. We could wait. The footage ended with Mitchell's last recorded words. 500,000 years should be enough. If you're seeing this, it means the network is active. It means they're coming. And it means we're finally ready. In the stunned silence that followed, High Elder Ixel spoke first. Dr. Brooks, your analysis. Mason Brooks stepped forward, his earlier uncertainty replaced with growing awe. The implications are staggering. Humanity didn't just hide their technology. They weaponize their perceived weakness. Every dismissive study of their primitive tools, every patronizing analysis of their refugee settlements, we were helping them hide. We became part of their deception. And now, another council member asked. Now, Mason gestured to the star map, where thousands of supposedly primitive human settlements pulsed with new meaning. Now we know we're looking at the components of the largest weapon system ever created, hidden in plain sight, assembled over 500,000 years, piece by piece, world by world. He paused, letting the full weight of the revelation sink in. The question is, what were they building it to fight? Major Ashley Thompson materialized in the Galactic Council chamber, her holographic form casting a soft blue glow across the alien faces. Behind her, a massive display showed Earth's transformed continents, now arranged in precise geometric patterns that seemed to pulse with hidden purpose. Distinguished council members, she began, her voice carrying the weight of centuries. You've seen fragments of our history. Now let me show you our present. She gestured, and the chamber transformed around them. They stood in what appeared to be a primitive cave dwelling, its walls covered in crude paintings. This is what your archaeologists documented on Proxima B, Ashley said. Then she waved her hand, and the truth revealed itself. The cave paintings shimmered and reformed into complex quantum circuits. The rough walls dissolved, showing a vast underground city stretching for kilometers in every direction. Every refugee settlement, she continued, walking through the holographic city, contained similar installations. While your scientists cataloged our apparent primitive state, we built cities in dimensional pockets. We developed technology in spaces where time moved differently. A Malorian representative, their crystalline form vibrating with agitation, interrupted. Impossible. We've monitored these settlements for millennia. Our sensors. Your sensors saw exactly what we wanted them to see, Ashley countered. She produced a simple stone knife, the kind humans had supposedly used in their refugee camps. This isn't just a tool. It's a quantum computer more powerful than your most advanced systems. Every chip of the blade, every imperfection, is part of its processing matrix. We didn't just hide our technology. We disguised it as primitive artifacts. The holographic display shifted again, showing a massive shipyard hidden in a fold of spacetime. While the galaxy pitied the primitive humans, we built fleets in dimensional pockets where centuries passed like days. We developed AI systems that transcended conventional physics. We prepared. For what? High Elder Ixel demanded. What threat could justify such elaborate deception? Ashley's expression darkened. She brought up new displays. Dark, shifting patterns between the stars, movements that seemed to defy natural law. We call them the Void Heralds. We first detected them during the Arcturus expedition in 2524. They exist in the spaces between dimensions, feeding on conscious life. Earth wasn't dying when we left. We transformed it into a weapon to fight them. The chamber filled with images of Earth's restructured continents. These aren't random patterns. The entire planet is now a dimensional anchor point. Those simple refugee settlements you documented, each one contains a piece of technology designed to interface with Earth's new geometry. Together, they form a galaxy-wide defense network 500,000 years in the making. She zoomed in on various locations across Earth's surface. Massive facilities emerged from hidden underground bunkers. Orbital rings hummed with impossible energy. The entire solar system pulsed with power that defied conventional physics. While you watched our primitive struggles, we reshaped reality itself. Those refugee caves, quantum computing centers, those simple tools, network nodes. Even our DNA was engineered to appear less advanced than it actually was. Everything, every piece of evidence you found, was carefully crafted to maintain our masquerade. A new hologram appeared, a real-time map of the galaxy showing thousands of points of light. each supposedly primitive human settlement now revealed as part of a vast, interconnected defense system. "And now," Ashley said, her voice growing urgent, "the network is activating. The Void Heralds have begun their incursion into our dimension. This is why we reveal ourselves now. This is why we spent 500,000 years preparing. This is why we needed the galaxy to think us weak and primitive." The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't just hidden their advancement. They'd built a weapon system spanning the entire galaxy, disguised as the scattered remains of a primitive civilization. "The question isn't why we deceive you," Ashley concluded, her holographic form growing more intense. "The question is whether you'll stand with us now that the deception is over. Because the enemy we've prepared for all these centuries, they're finally here." Above them, the galactic map pulsed with warning signals as something began to tear its way into their reality. General Marcus Steele walked through the council chamber like a ghost from humanity's hidden past. His weathered face and antiquated military uniform made him seem out of place, but the advanced holographic projectors implanted in his enhanced body betrayed his true nature, a bridge between humanity's perceived primitive past and its reality. "I'll be brief," he announced, his voice carrying an authority that silenced the panicked discussions among council members. "You have 1 hour to decide. Unite under humanity's leadership, or face the Void Heralds alone." The chamber erupted in protest. A Zaxtheri representative's crystalline form flashed angry red. "You deceive us for 500,000 years, and now demand leadership." Steele's response was to activate a holographic display that made several council members recoil. It showed a massive tear in spacetime at the galaxy's edge, dark tendrils of impossible geometry reaching through. "While you've been debating, 3 solar systems have already gone dark. The Void Heralds don't care about your political concerns." He brought up another display, showing recordings from humanity's first encounter with the entities. The footage was disturbing. Reality itself seemed to unravel wherever the Heralds touched. Entire planets were consumed, their very existence erased from multiple dimensions simultaneously. "We've been fighting them in secret for centuries," Steele continued, his cybernetic eyes glowing faintly. "Every primitive settlement we established contains quantum-locked weapons designed specifically to combat extra-dimensional entities. The geometric patterns we carved into Earth's continents, they're not decoration. They're part of a dimensional anchor system that can stabilize reality itself." High Elder Ixel's form pulsed with concern. "If what you say is true, why not tell us? Why the deception?" Steele's laugh was hollow. "Would you have believed us? More importantly, would you have let us build what we needed to build?" He gestured to the galaxy map, where thousands of supposedly primitive human settlements glowed with new meaning. "Each of these points is a fortress disguised as a refugee camp. Each contains technology that would have terrified you 500,000 years ago. We needed you to ignore us, to underestimate us, to let us work." The display shifted to show humanity's hidden fleet emerging from dimensional pockets across the galaxy. The ships were unlike anything the Council had ever seen. Sleek black vessels that seemed to bend reality around them, powered by technologies that defied conventional physics. "These ships have been in position for millennia," Steele explained. "Every time your survey vessels documented a primitive human settlement, they were probably flying right past a cloaked battle fleet. We didn't scatter in fear. We deployed in preparation." A new alarm blared through the chamber. The tear in spacetime had grown larger, and now multiple breach points were appearing across the galaxy. The Void Heralds were beginning their invasion in earnest. "The choice is simple," Steele declared, his cybernetic systems projecting tactical data across the chamber. "You can cling to your anger at our deception, or you can accept that we spent 500,000 years preparing for this moment. Everything we did, every lie, every deception, every seemingly primitive settlement was building toward this battle." He brought up one final display, a real-time view of Earth. The planet's transformed continents were glowing now, geometric patterns pulsing with power that defied conventional science. The orbital rings had become weapon platforms of impossible sophistication, and the entire solar system hummed with energy that made the Council's most advanced sensors overload. 1 hour, Steele repeated. Then we activate the network, with or without your support. Humanity didn't spend 500 millennia preparing for this fight just to let political squabbles doom the galaxy. As if to emphasize his point, another system went dark on the galactic display. The Void Heralds were advancing, consuming reality itself in their wake. The Council chamber fell silent, the weight of the choice before them hanging heavy in the air. They had trusted humanity's primitive facade for 500,000 years. Now, faced with an impossible threat, they had to decide if they could trust humanity's true face. Captain Ryan Cooper stood aboard the bridge of the Asterisk, Shadowblade Asterisk, watching as humanity's greatest deception came to its end. Around him, thousands of ships emerged from dimensional pocket space, their obsidian hulls drinking in starlight. Each vessel was capped in by an immortal AI, digital copies of humanity's greatest commanders preserved through the centuries. Fleet status, he commanded, his neural implants connecting directly with the ship's quantum systems. All vessels reporting ready, Captain, responded Air-9, his ship's eye. The refugee settlement on Proxima Centauri B is transforming now. Would you like to observe? The main view screen shifted, showing what appeared to be a primitive human colony. Mud huts and stone tools, exactly what the galaxy had expected to see for 500,000 years. Then the transformation began. The ground split open as massive structures rose from hidden underground chambers. The simple huts dissolved, revealing quantum communication arrays disguised as primitive dwellings. What had appeared to be a scattered collection of tribal structures was now a fully operational military base, bristling with weapons that defied conventional physics. "Show me the others," Cooper ordered. The display expanded, showing similar transformations occurring across the galaxy. Each primitive settlement was revealing its true nature. The galaxy's most comprehensive archaeological database was becoming its most powerful military network. "Sir," Air-9 interrupted, "the Council fleet approaches." Cooper watched as the combined ships of the Galactic Council's member races took formation alongside his vessels. Their crews had to be struggling to process what they were seeing. The supposed primitive refugees they'd studied and dismissed for millennia were now commanding the most advanced fleet ever assembled. "Open channel to all vessels," Cooper commanded. As the communication link established, he addressed both human and alien crews. For 500,000 years, humanity has hidden behind a mask of primitive simplicity. Today, that mask comes off. He triggered another transformation sequence. Across every human settlement, the seemingly crude artifacts began to activate. Simple stone tools revealed themselves as quantum computers. Cave paintings became holographic tactical displays. Primitive jewelry pieces connected, forming a galaxy-spanning network of dimensional sensors. "Each piece of evidence you found of our primitive nature," Cooper continued, "was carefully designed to hide its true purpose. Those simple tools you documented, network nodes, those basic shelters, quantum weapon platforms, those primitive cave paintings, tactical computers beyond anything you'd imagined possible. The Asterisk Shadowblade's Asterisk sensors detected the approaching void rifts, tiers in spacetime where the heralds were breaking through. Cooper's neural implants processed the data faster than any organic brain could manage. Your anthropologists spent centuries studying what they thought were primitive human artifacts," he said, his voice carrying across all channels. "They never realized they were cataloging the components of the largest weapon system ever created." At his command, the transformed settlements began to power up. Energy readings spiked across the galaxy as 500,000 years of hidden preparation came to fruition. The geometric patterns carved into Earth's continents pulsed with impossible power, creating a dimensional anchor point that stabilized reality itself. "We didn't scatter as refugees," Cooper declared, watching as more void rifts appeared. "We deployed as an army. Every settlement positioned exactly where it needed to be. Every primitive tool placed precisely where it would be needed. 500 millennia of preparation, hidden behind a facade of primitive desperation. The void rifts grew larger, dark tendrils of anti-reality reaching into their dimension. But now, humanity's hidden fleet was ready. The transformed settlements were online. The network that had masqueraded as primitive human civilization was awakening. All vessels, battle formations, Cooper ordered, his neural implants coordinating with the AI commanders across the fleet. Active dimensional shielding, quantum weapons hot. As the first Void Heralds emerged from their rifts, they faced not the scattered remains of a primitive civilization, but humanity's true legacy, a galaxy-spanning defense network 500,000 years in the making. "Let's show them," Cooper said, his ship's quantum drives powering up. "Exactly what we've been building all this time." The battle for reality itself was about to begin. Lieutenant Commander Hannah Reeves stood at the helm of Earth's primary control center, her enhanced mind connected to thousands of transformed settlements across the galaxy. Through her neural interface, she felt each quantum weapon powering up, each dimensional anchor activating. The culmination of humanity's 500 millennium deception. "Multiple breaches detected," announced Araya-12, her command AI. "Void Heralds emerging in sectors 7 through 19. Reality destabilization at 40% and climbing." Above Earth, the geometric patterns carved into the continents blazed with power. The orbital rings, no longer hiding their true nature, transformed into weapon platforms that defied conventional physics. This was what humanity had spent 500,000 years preparing for. "All settlements, execute final transformation," Hannah commanded. Across the galaxy, the last pieces of humanity's masquerade fell away. Simple stone tools merged into quantum-locked weapon arrays. Primitive cave paintings became reality anchors. What had appeared to be scattered refugee camps revealed themselves as fortress worlds. The Void Heralds emerged fully into their dimension, vast, geometric impossibilities that hurt the mind to observe. Where they touched, reality itself began to unravel. 3 Zax Theory cruisers disappeared instantly, their very existence erased across multiple dimensions. Now, Hannah's order echoed across all channels. "Execute Protocol Omega." Earth's transformed continents pulsed in sequence, sending waves of stabilizing energy through the dimensional anchor network. Every primitive artifact humanity had scattered across the galaxy activated simultaneously. The quantum circuits hidden in simple tools, the dimensional tech disguised as tribal totems, the reality engines masked as primitive dwellings, all connected into a single, galaxy-spanning machine 500,000 years in the making. "Energy network stable," Araya-12 reported, all nodes responding. "The great machine is online." Hannah watched as Captain Cooper's fleet engaged the first wave of heralds. The supposedly primitive humans now commanded ships that phased between dimensions, wielding weapons that could rewrite the laws of physics in localized areas. Each vessel was crewed by immortal AI versions of humanity's greatest commanders, their centuries of hidden preparation evident in every precise maneuver. "They're attempting to destabilize Sector 12, Hannah announced to the combined fleet. "All vessels, form up on my signal. This is what we've trained for across 500,000 years. Every deception, every hidden settlement, every falsified artifact. It was all for this moment." The Void Heralds pressed their attack, reality warping around their impossible forms. But where they encountered human settlements, they found not the primitive camps they expected, but fortress worlds bristling with dimensional weaponry. Each simple tool, each crude dwelling, each piece of primitive technology had been a disguised component of humanity's ultimate weapon. "All settlements, channel power to the Earth Nexus," Hannah ordered. The geometric patterns carved into Earth's continents blazed brighter, drawing energy from every transformed human installation across the galaxy. "Prepare for dimensional lockdown." The heralds sensed the trap too late. As they pushed deeper into the galaxy, they found themselves surrounded by humanity's hidden network. Every primitive settlement they had ignored for millennia was now a fortress. Every simple tool was a weapon. Every scattered human refugee camp was a carefully positioned component of something far greater. "Execute final sequence," Hannah commanded. Earth's transformed surface reached full power, the geometric patterns achieving their true purpose. Energy coursed through the galaxy-spanning network of disguised human technology. Reality itself began to stabilize, locked into place by 500,000 years of careful preparation. The Void Heralds found themselves trapped, caught in a web of dimensional anchors that humanity had spent centuries positioning. Their ability to unravel reality was countered by the very network they had dismissed as primitive human settlements. All vessels, all settlements, all nodes, Hannah's order carried across the galaxy. Fire. The greatest deception in galactic history reached its culmination. Humanity's hidden fleet, transformed settlements, and disguised technology unleashed 500 millennia of prepared fury. The Void Heralds, for the first time in their existence, faced an enemy that had spent 500,000 years preparing specifically for them. As the battle raged, Hannah allowed herself a moment of pride. The galaxy had believed humanity primitive refugees, scattered and weak. Now they understood. Humans hadn't fled Earth. They had deployed.